Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Stedman. In this video I want to teach you how to do this cable hat. It's part of the set with a poncho that I did last week. It's very easy to do and it looks fantastic, the set. And I hope you guys like it and give it a try and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. To make this hat for the matching set with the poncho that I did last week, I'm gonna start with the leftover yarn from the last week poncho. I have here, let me weigh this, 62 grams. The netting needle, the straight ones, are 8 millimeters. I just placed this silicone finger cover protector. That way I don't make too much noise when I'm working here. The circular needle are 8 millimeters and they are 42 centimeters long. You're gonna need a cable needle, a marker, a crochet hook, because first we're gonna do the border of the circumference of the hat, and after that we're gonna cast on straight up the stitches for the top. So you need a hook, tapestry needle, and scissor, and a piece of paper, and a pen or a pencil to keep track of the rounds and rows of the border and then the rounds of the hat, and each time you have to do the cable. Here I already, in my notebook, I have what I'm gonna do for the border cable, because we're gonna do a border cable first for the circumference of the head, and then after that we cast on in that cable. I go up to the top of the hat. Sorry. So you're gonna start with 12 stitches, and then in row number 3 you're gonna do the first cable, and gonna be one type of crossing the cable, one type, and then in row number 9 you're gonna do again the cable, but then it will be a different way to do the cable. So those 2 repetitions you're gonna alternate each time you have to do the cable. So for example, we do in row 3 and row 9, and then when we do in row 15 it will be the repetition on row 3, and in row 21 the repetition of 9, and 27 of 3, and in 33 of 9, and so on. So I'm gonna show you how you're gonna do this. And then I have here already into row 57. So if I'm gonna do more than 57 row, I continue writing here, and each time I do a row I click, and that's it, to keep track. So we're gonna start by casting on 12 stitches, and that's for the border, leaving it there long enough. To cast on your 12 stitches, like so. We're going to secure the stitch with the knot. So we're going to just do net in the right side and purl in the wrong side. The only thing that changed is when we had to do the cable. So row 1 and 2 is one row of net, and row number 2 is a row of purl. So this is the right side. You're going to net 12, and you're going to go back with purl 12. And then in row number 3 we're gonna do a first cable. Here we have our 2 rows of 12 nets and then 12 purl. Now we're gonna do our first cable, and we're gonna net 4. Remember, this is row 3. That's 2, 3, and 4. The next 4 we're gonna pass them to your cable needle. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're gonna leave them in the front, and you're gonna net the next 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're gonna net these 4 on your cable needle. If you like, you can pass them back to your needle, or you can net them with the cable needle. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna net these 4, and like that you did the first cable crossing. In row number 3. So now from row 4 to row 8, you're gonna net in the right side and purl on the wrong side. So we're gonna do row 4. So this is the wrong side. You have to purl. And row 5 net, row 6 purl, row 7 net, and row 8 purl. And row number 9, we're gonna do again our cable. So it's very easy, and I have it write it down here, and you see. And don't forget to mark each time you do a row. That way it's easy for you. If you have to leave your work, you know what you're doing, and to know when you have to do your cable. So you see in here I have what I have to do for my cable, and then in here I only have a 3 with a line to make sure that I see that that's the row for the repetition of 3. And again I have the line here, and I know that's repetition of 9, repetition of 3. Each time I have a line, I know where is that I have to do the cable, so it's easier for me. You can do the same if you like. So now you're gonna continue with purling in the wrong side and netting in the right side for those 5 rows. From row 4 to row 8. And then you count as 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you're going to purl in the front side. And knit in the right side. So I will meet you here when I finish my row number 8. I finished row number 8. That was a purl row. Now we're gonna do row number 9. That's gonna be the cable again, and don't seem like much right now, but as you work you can see the result. So now what we're gonna do for the cable on row 9, you're gonna grab your cable needle and you're gonna pass 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this time you're gonna pass them to the back. And you're gonna bring this closer to the border here, this one. That way it's easier. And you're gonna net 4, the next 4 stitches. This 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're gonna net the 4 on your cable needle. You have to be a little careful here, because when you're gonna do the first one, this one will tend to fall out of the needle. But once you do the first one from this side, it's fine. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're gonna knit the last 4 ones in this needle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that was row 9. So now you're gonna do the repetition from row 4 to 8, and then when you have number 8, you will do the repetition on row 3. And then once you do row 3, you will do again from 4 to 8, and then you'll do the repetition on row 9. So I'm gonna try my best to go along and show you the repetition of the cable. I don't gonna go each row because, you know, netting in the right side and purl on the wrong side is very obvious which row you have to do that. But just from row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that repetition, okay? So, and that was row 9, so now going to be row 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you see 5, and then in row 15, we're going to do the repetition of 3. So I'll meet you here when I finish row 14. So that will be a purl row. Remember, purl in the wrong side and netting in the right side. I finished row 14. Like you see, you don't see much yet, but you will do soon enough. We're gonna do row 15, and that will be the repetition of row 3. So in row 3, we net the first 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the next 4, you're gonna pass in your cable needle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Leave them in the front, and you're gonna knit the next 4. You see how easy it is. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're gonna come here and you're gonna knit the 4 that you have in your cable needle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And like that, you do the repetition of row 3 on row 15. And you see, it start to look like a cable now. So now you're going to continue with the repetition of row 4 to 8. So this was row 15, so you're going to do a repetition of 4 and 16, of 5 and 17, of 6 and 18, of 7 and 19, and repetition of 8 in row 20. In row 21, we're going to do the repetition of row 9. So you're going to purl in the wrong side and knit in the right side into row 20. I did those 5 rows in camera, that way you see how easy and how fast it is to do them. So now we're going to do the repetition of row 9, and this is in row 21. And what we did in row 9 was we passed the first 4 stitches to the cable needle. And you're going to pass them to the back. Remember, when you do the repetition of row 3, is the 3 in the center pass to the front, and when you do repetition of 9, the first 4 you pass them to the back, and then you come to the next, and you're gonna do 4 net. And now you're gonna go to these 4 in the back. Very careful, because sometimes it happened to me when I was practicing this. This fall out of the needle. You're gonna come here and you're gonna net the 4. Only the first one is a little bit more difficult. After that, it's easy to do the other 3. And then now you're gonna net these 4. And like that's the repetition that you're gonna do until you have the desired length for the circumference of the hat. So depending on the size of the head of the person that you're doing this hat is the amount of rows that you're gonna do. And you see it start to take shape for cable border. So that was row 21, that was the repetition of row 9. So then the repetition, when you do the cable after 5 rows, that will be in row 27. It will be the repetition of row 3, and then in row 33, repetition of 9, and so on. So I will meet you here. You can go back to the video and start, you know, if you don't remember how to do the repetition of 3, go to row 3 and see how easy it is, and then to row 9, and then you see how is that you do the cable every 5 rows. So if your braid cable it look like this, don't think that it's you doing something wrong. Is that as you work, that side is hiding in the back, but when we start working with the crochet hook to cast on the stitches for the top of the hat, we bring that part out, you see, and that's the part that we're gonna cast on our stitches. And then you will have this in the front like this for the border, and in this side will be the cast on. So when you cast on in the back, you grab this one in the front and the one in the back, and I stay like that. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that, just in case you're working in your cable and it look like this and you think that it's not, you're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong, is that just automatically fall because it's net and fall in the back like so. Okay, so you see this step in here, that's the one that will go here, and you just do a cast on in there for the top of the hat. Okay, I have the length that I need for mine, and I did 78 row and measures 54 centimeters long. So now in row 79 I'm gonna cast off, and it has to be in the right side of the piece. Okay, you cast off, it has to be in a net stitch. So you're gonna net the first one and then the second one, and you're going to pass the first one on top of the second one, and then you're going to continue like that until you have one loop left. Don't cut the yarn, because with that yarn we're going to continue working the top of the hat. I'm going to create my loop nice and big, that way don't come undone. So now what I'm going to do is, with the other end, with the tail that I have here, I hope I have enough, I'm going to sew my 2 ends in here. Okay, so something that I want to mention, if you don't have circular needle and you want to do this straight, so you're going to start casting on your stitches like this. Remember, it will be a little bit different than mine. because mine gonna be work all in a net stitch in the right side. But if you're working back and forth, you have to net in the right side and purl in the wrong side of the piece, okay? Now with the circular needle, we're going to start the cast on. And the stitch that we're going to do is multiple of 10. And in here, you see, I'm grabbing the one in the front and the one in the back. The one that is, you see, folded in the back, you need to bring it up. So it will be 8 for the cable and 2 for the side of the cable and a purl stitch. So you can have 70, 80, 60, 90. You're going to continue, and remember always lifting the one under once you get to that space. So I will be here when I have all my cast on. Here I cast on 70 stitches. So it will look like this. And this is the border of the hat. And now we're going to start working our way up our hat. So we're going to start by placing our marker here. We're going to start with one purl. 8 nets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1 pearl. That's the repetition that we're gonna do till the end. So we start with 1 pearl, 8 nets, 1 pearl, and at the end you're gonna finish with the pearl because you already started with 1 here. You're gonna have 2 pearl in between each 8 nets. Now we're gonna do the same repetition. You're gonna start with 1 pearl, and you're gonna do 8 nets, and then you'll have 2 pearl because you finish with 1 pearl and start with a pearl. So that will be 2 pearls in here. So you're gonna do this repetition of the pearls and the net until row 5, and in row 6 we'll do the cable. Okay, so you're gonna net the nets and pearl the pearls. Row number 6, we're gonna do the cable, and you're gonna do your first pearl. All the pearls stay as pearls. So we're gonna come here, and with the cable needle, you're gonna grab your 4 net in the front, and you're gonna pass them to the back, and then you're gonna net the next 4. So if you did the poncho, the cable that we are doing here are exactly the same as the one in the poncho. Now you're gonna go to the back and net these 4. And that's the repetition that you're gonna do in all the 8 net space. And then you're gonna purl these 2, and then you grab these 4, pass them to the back, net the next 4, and then net the ones on the cable needle. And that's the repetition of this row number 6. You're gonna do 2 purls again. And 2. You're gonna pass your 4 net to the back, and 4, and then you're gonna net the next 4. And this is the repetition that you're gonna do all the way around, and each time you do your cable. I finished row number 6. Now you're going to continue with the repetition of what you did between row 1 and 5. You're going to purl the purl and net the net, and you're going to decide the length of your cable. So you can do as many rows as you want before you do the cable again. For mine, I'm going to do it, so I did this one in row 6. So I'm going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then for the next one will be in 14. So I'm going to leave it this time 7 rows in between before I do the cable. And then after 14, I will do it in 22 and so on, okay? For mine. And you're going to continue doing that repetition until you have like 21.5 centimeters long. So it's very easy. And if you know how to do cable, you don't have to be afraid to continue by yourself. So it's exactly what I show you here. You're going to do in row 14 and 22, and after that will be in row 30 and so on. In row 14 you're going to do exactly the same as you did in row 6. You're going to purl 1, and the next 4 net you're going to pass in your cable needle to the back. I know you're seeing here is the repetition that I did in row 6, but it's exactly the same in row 14 and 22. You're going to pass into the back, net the next 4, and then net the 4 in the cable needle, and then do 2 purl. So you're going to continue doing this repetition in row 14 and 22. The rest of the rows will be you purl the purl and net the nets. I finished row 22, and that was the row that I did the cable. Now in row 23 I'm gonna do just a regular row, and then in row 24 I will start with a decrease. I finished 23, I'm gonna do 24, and I'm gonna do my first purl. Now I'm gonna do 2 net, and then the next 2 net I'm gonna do them together. Then next 2 net together, and add 2 separate nets. Now instead of 8 you will have 6 net. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you're going to do 2 purl, and then you're going to repeat what you did in that cable. You're going to do 2 separate net, 1 and 2, the next 2 together for a decrease, the next 2 together for a decrease, and then the next 2 separate, 1 and 2, and then you do your 2 purls. Like that you're going to do this entire round or row. I finished row 24. Now for 25 again we're going to do 1 purl, and this time we're going to do 1 net, and the next 2 net you're going to do them together for a decrease, and the next 2 net together for another decrease, and then you're going to do your last net. So now you're going to have 4 net stitch. You're going to do 2 purl, 1 and 2. Again you're going to do 1 net, 2 net together for a decrease, the next 2 together for another decrease, and then you have 1 more net. and now you do 2 purls. Like that, you're gonna do row 25. For row 26, we're gonna do 1 purl. Now 2 together, 2 together, and 2 together all the way around. These 2 net together. The next 2 net together. And now these 2 purls together and a purl stitch. The next 2 net together. And then the next 2 net together. And then the next 2 purls together and a purl stitch. And like that, you're going to continue all the way around. At the end of this row, you have your 2 purl, and what you're going to do in here is you're going to pass it to this needle, remove the marker, and pass it back and do those 2 together and a purl stitch. And I don't want to do any more decrease. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a tail long enough for passing through the top of those stitches twice and closing the top of the hat. I wish I had made another motif, and instead of 70 stitches for the top, I've done 80. That way it's nice and loose. But if you're watching the video before you do the design, try to cast down and here 80 stitches instead of 70. Okay? If you like, you can leave it like this, just sew the tail and lose those tails. Or you can place a pom-pom here. I'm gonna place a pom-pom here. Those pom-pom that I already bought, already like full fur. I'm gonna place one in here. well, the hat looked like this. I wish, like I mentioned, I had made 80 stitches instead of 70, but well, this is the way it look. They look really nice. And this is the amount of yarn that I have left over from that big ball of yarn that I used for the poncho and the hat. So now I'm gonna put it on my mannequin and I will show you the complete end result of the two pieces. This is the end result of the hat and it looks fantastic. Especially with the set with the poncho. And I hope you guys like it and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this set and you want to send me some pictures, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Stedman, or you can find me in my Instagram, Ruby Stedman Crochet. Please share my video with friends and family, that way you help me grow here in YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.